That was a great segment on Raw. I also really like the Drew McIntyre-Jey Uso match. Jey Uso loses again. But, listen, he's super over and he looked good enough in defeat, which I know we joke about a lot, but it almost doesn't even matter with Jey Uso. He does need to rack up wins eventually. I would say he would need to if he was going for a championship again. I mean, he did last week, and he was still losing prior to that. But, what did he do to earn an opportunity at that World Heavyweight Championship? The answer is nothing. At least with Drew, they're kind of pushing towards that direction of him getting another opportunity. He beat Jey this week. He beat Sami Zayn last week. He's got some wins under his belt, so it's not completely random that he's challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. First, on the Jey Uso front, Yeet is back. I'm sure you're happy about that.
So excited.
He just came out and made that pretty clear in his promo that Yeet has been reinstated. I would assume they came to some sort of agreement with the person who had the trademark, I would imagine. I know it was abandoned in 2022 by the person, or they didn't renew it, or whatever the case might have been. WWE worked their magic and secured, that should have never happened in the first place, but they eventually secured the rights to the trademark, and now we could say Yeet and put it on t-shirts and shit like that. On the Drew front, Drew is challenging, like I said, Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, not at the Royal Rumble, and he probably will at the Rumble, but it was announced for the Day 1 edition of Monday Night Raw on January 1st. So they're doing the match first on that show, and then maybe running it back at the Rumble. I'm looking forward to what they're doing with Drew and Rollins, because I feel like I say it every week, and I hate to sound like a broken record. The stuff they're doing with McIntyre right now, and Rollins kind of by proxy, has been excellent. The character work is great. The promos make a lot of sense. His execution of the promos and the character development has been awesome. Honestly, I'm going to say this right now, and I was thinking about it. Not bold prediction, but a bold thought. I think there's a possibility or a way that you could put the belt on McIntyre at the Day 1 edition of Raw and then have him lose it right back to Rollins at the Royal Rumble, just to break up the monotony of Rollins always winning. I don't think Rollins needs to be champion for a year straight to break any... he's the fucking inaugural champion. He's not breaking any records by holding the championship for a year. I honestly think he could win the championship on that Day 1 edition of Raw and then lose it right back to Rollins at the Royal Rumble. They did it all the time in the Attitude Era. They didn't make it right. But I think if you do a hot potato title change once in a while, it could work. It would reward McIntyre for all the stuff that he's done in the past 3 years. He can win a world championship in front of fans, albeit as a heel, and then lose it right back to Rollins to set up Punk and Rollins for WrestleMania, because I feel like it's so obvious right now that we're getting Punk and Rollins that people know that he's going to beat Drew on the Day 1 edition of Raw. What I'm expecting is a DQ finish or a countout or whatever to set up a rematch at the Rumble. But what I would like to see is Drew actually beating Seth to set up another match at the Rumble, and he gets like a 3-week reign as World Heavyweight Championship, as World Heavyweight Champion. Yay or nay? Are you a fan of that, or do you think it's completely dumb?
No, I don't mind that. Like I said, I feel like getting the belt off Seth would be nice. It's been so, like I said, I feel like Drew also deserves... if Drew doesn't win, it's then what? I feel like he's kind of in a holding pattern. Honestly, you really don't know what the direction they're going to go with him anyway. So like you said, even if he holds the belt for a little bit, he's not going to hold it for a while. And at that point, I really don't know what you do with him. We'll see. I think so. I actually don't mind that idea. Like I said, get off Rollins for a little bit. Drew gets rewarded, and then we move on right to Rollins and Punk. But like you said, I feel like what you kind of propose of him getting DQ'd or something, that will lead to the rematch, and then he'll just lose.
I don't know when he's coming back, but I didn't really know what Drew would be doing at WrestleMania. But Sami Zayn, McIntyre took him out of commission last week on Raw backstage. Now, we read the report soon after. Sami Zayn requested time off. He was granted it, which is for the best. They don't have anything for him going on right now on Raw heading into the Royal Rumble match. He might reappear in the Rumble match itself. He might cost McIntyre the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know. Probably not. He might be off for a little bit longer than 2 or 3 weeks. I think that's the Mania match there. I think you can do McIntyre and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, and that's where Sami Zayn finally gets a win over Drew. It gives them something to do. Because if they're not doing that, I'm not really sure what else they do at WrestleMania, unless they're involved in some sort of multi-man match for the Intercontinental Championship, which I would not do.
Yeah, no, that works for me.
I think that would make a perfect addition to the WrestleMania card.